A third state of emergency has been declared in New South Wales starting tomorrow as fire crews brace for extremely dangerous conditions on Saturday. Temperatures will soar past 40 degrees in parts of the state as strong winds and a hot air mass threatens to flare fires.
The reason why we're doing it tomorrow, ahead of Saturday, is to make sure that Commissioner Fitzsimmons and all of the emergency personnel, all of our agencies, all organisations know that from tomorrow they will be subject to forced evacuations, road closures, road openings and anything else we need to do as a state to keep our residents safe and to keep property safe.
A mass evacuation has been underway today after the Rural Fire Service declared a tourist leave zone stretching from Batemans Bay to the Victorian border. Holidaymakers have been lining up at petrol stations and supermarkets for hours to get supplies. The Rural Fire Service has warned Saturday could be as bad, if not worse, than New Year's Eve, with the focus on the southeast of New South Wales. Crews have been working to contain containment lines at the Currajong Fire northwest of Sydney.
Crews have been working on that all day. They're gaining the upper hand, but that containment will be tenuous as we head into the weekend. They'll be continuing to strengthen that containment on the weekend, and the last thing we want is to see an outbreak of fire from that fire complex and heading into more populated areas like the Blue Mountains community along Great Western Highway, or heading into places like Bowen Mountain and the Currajong region and down into northwestern Sydney, for example.
We'll go live now to Julia Bradley, who is in Batemans Bay on the New South Wales south coast. Julia, there's been a mass exodus this afternoon.
That's right, Christy. It certainly was a mass exodus of holidaymakers and residents fleeing the south coast of New South Wales ahead of these dangerous conditions. So my cameraman Murray and I were actually just stationed in Nowra a little bit earlier. We made the trip down to Batemans Bay just now, and what we saw on the way down, well, streams and streams of cars trying to flee on the Princes Highway further north. We saw bumper to bumper people sitting on top of their car roofs as they wait stationary, hardly moving a muscle. We saw people getting out of their cars and ducking into petrol stations, really trying to stock up on fuel and grab some last-minute food and drink supplies as they wait for hours. And we actually drove through that dangerous 6-kilometre stretch that the RFS have been talking about in the Shoalhaven region. That's where they're seeing increased fire activity, that Currowan blaze, that dangerous blaze, actually hopping the Princes Highway. So that's another major concern at the moment. It's actually led to the closure of that area of the Princes Highway, and authorities are waiting to see whether that can be mopped up and quickly reopened to let these tourists and these residents continue to evacuate. So now at Batemans Bay, where we are now, the winds really are starting to pick up a bit, and we've got fires to the left of us. So we can see that Clyde Mountain blaze continuing to burn, and while that is at an advice level now, we simply don't know what is going to happen come the weekend with these forecast dangerous conditions on Saturday. We're going to see temperatures really start to soar into the 40s, much stronger winds, possibly gusting up to 70 kilometres per hour. So that's the biggest concern at the moment. As you mentioned, state of emergency has been declared in New South Wales in an effort to really get people prepared for these worsening conditions. So that's the major advice at the moment, and we are seeing that risk area also being extended. So past the south coast, now pushing into the Shoalhaven, spreading into the east, into more populated areas. We heard the RFS Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons mention the southern slopes west of high country, Batlow, Thredbo, Perisher, Jindabyne, those areas now all at risk. So that really is the messaging now. Now is the safest time to leave if you haven't already done so.
Great advice there, Julia. Thank you so much for the update. We'll check in with you again shortly.